Hello everyone, welcome to Sunya IAS and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to start talking about Indian economy, very important part of UPSC Civil Services examination. And when we talk about prelims examination, we get substantial number of questions which can help us gain from 15 to 30 marks whatsoever, right? Our economy weightage has been seen to be very consistent that way that minimum 10 question kahin na kahin se aane hi aane, minimum 10 questions are going to be there, and then over those 10 questions there will be questions which will be mixed with other aspects. So there will be questions from budget, economic survey, there will be questions from certain schemes, but then even there the concepts of economy will be applied. So we'll start with the basics, and just like we did in polity, I want that you make notes of very crucial points. Economy के जो notes हैं वो polity से थोड़े ज़्यादा bulky हो सकते हैं because a lot of concepts are there in economy, right? And in fact, economy and polity together comprise just less than half of your prelims paper. अगर ये दो सब्जेक्ट आप बहुत अच्छे से करके चले जाते हो, 20 से 30 क्वेश्चंस आपके मैनेजेबल हैं बहुत अच्छे से, राइट? So that's why you need to give a lot of attention to economy, especially when it comes to the new pattern. Now, the good thing about economy is that conceptual questions will help you a lot. Conceptual questions will help you go a very long way. And there are not a lot of things that you can flip in economy. There are not a lot of things which you can actually as such make vague in economy. Economy is pretty direct. Okay. So now that we are starting, just start with the note making of economy, and just like we did in polity, make those notes in A4 size sheets. Keep them very brief. Keep them to the point that you will be able to revise them 1 week before prelims. That is how you are supposed to envision your notes. They should not be bulky notes. They should just be keywords. Now, if we talk about macro economy, right? Macro economy से ही सवाल आते हैं in your prelims examination. Macro economy talks about the overall trends in the economy, and we get that trend specifically for Indian economy. So we get inflation, we get types of economy, we get concepts like overall disinflation, deflation, and bond rates, yields, all these things, all these concepts will keep coming to you. Then forex prices, depreciation, currency depreciation, right? So these concepts will build upon each other, but we'll start from the basics. So the first chapter will be fundamentals of macroeconomy. Now, when you are talking about the economy of any country, you need to know why we need to study economy, and you don't need to write this, just understand what I'm saying. Economy arises as a discipline because of two things. One is that human wants are unlimited. So unlimited human wants, and you would have experienced that even if people get one car, they want to get the second car. If they get a particular car, they want to get the more expensive car. They want to get a house. No matter how much money someone gets, human wants are unlimited. So that is the first thing. Second is the resources are scarce. So scarce resources. If there were unlimited resources, be it money, be it agricultural production, be it industries, anything, if the resources were infinite, there would not be a need for economy as a discipline, economics as a discipline, right? So the study of economy comes from these two reasons, that human wants are unlimited and the resources regarding using these, fulfilling these wants are very limited. So there has to be allocation of these resources. Allocation of these resources, and economy is all about allocation of resources, finite resources to fulfill the unlimited human wants. So allocation of resources. Now here is where your note making begins. How can we allocate resources? What are the ways in which resources can be allocated? Who will be responsible for allocating the resources? See, there can be multiple kinds of economy. We divide economy on the basis of allocation of resources into three types. One is a free market economy. Free market economy. This is the kind of economy that emerged with the Industrial Revolution, that whatever companies want, whatever private industrialists want, they can sell anything, they can buy anything. Whoever has the money to purchase their product will purchase it. Whoever doesn't have the money, it's his fault that he does not have that money. And that is why he does not deserve to have any resources. Okay. So this is free market economy. It is also called laissez-faire economy. Laissez-faire economy. This concept came from a gentleman called Mr. Adam Smith, who wrote a book called Economy and the Wealth of Nations, wherein he said that governments do not need to interfere at all in the market mechanisms. Markets can handle themselves by the free invisible hand of the market economy. This is free market economy. So no cap on inflation, nothing doing. Everything will manage itself. The second is called command economy. Command economy, state-led economy, or socialist economy, right? There are multiple terms to call it. Now, this is absolute opposite. This kind of economy will have all the decisions being taken by the state only. So even if you want to run a company, you have to have all the permissions. Your products cannot be more expensive than a certain range. You cannot sell whatever products you want. Your products have to be a certain variety of it, which the state allows. So it is command economy. State is commanding the economy. We were leaning towards this command economy till 1991. In 1991, liberalization, privatization, globalization happened because of the IMF conditions that were put on us. Okay, we'll talk about it eventually. But that was the time that we started transitioning towards free market economy. Are we a free market economy today? No. Are we a command economy today? No. What are we today? We are a mixed economy. And in fact, almost all the countries in the world right now are mixed economy, because please understand that you cannot survive in an economy where everything is being controlled by the companies, because then who will create the schools? Who will create the hospitals? Who will make it affordable for the poor to send their children to school? Do they not deserve to send their children to school? Aisa to nahi hai, right? So mixed economy. We have a very healthy balance of mixed economy right now, where the state plus market is coexisting. So you can start whatever business you want, but you have to comply with state rules. And you would see that, lot of new ventures came up. Like recently, there was in budget 2022, there was this announcement that there will be 30% taxation on profits made on cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency was a new domain. So cryptocurrency was sort of a representative of the rise of free market economy. Okay, it was showing that free market economy का वो एक तरीका है, because cryptocurrency is not regulated by any state, right? But then the state aspect came to it, and that is what shows that we are a mixed economy. You can do anything, but within the laws of the state. So this is there. These are the three kind of economies. This is very simple. Now let's talk about the sectors of economy. What are the sectors of economy? Sectors, या फिर आप agents of economy भी इसको बोल सकते हैं. Whatever you have in an economy, and please note this down, you can classify it into 4 categories. You can classify it into 4 categories. One, and the primary one, is the households. Okay, you purchase things. Households we do not assume that households create anything. Households are there to purchase. Households are there to actually send the people to be employed. So households. Then there are firms. What are firms? Firms are businesses. Okay. Then there is the government sector. Okay, government expenditure. and then there is external sector. Okay. Please know that these four are not the factors of production. Factors of production are different, but these are sectors or agents in an economy. Other than these four, you cannot classify any economic agent in the economy in any other category. Either it will be a government, a part of government, either it will be a private firm, either it will be a household, or it will be somewhere from the external sector. These are the only four probabilities. So please write that. Then you write about factors of production. Economic relations are all about creating and selling goods and services. Okay. And to create and sell goods and services, you need four factors. Okay. You need four elements without which you cannot survive. Now, you will come up with questions here, but I will answer all of those questions myself. The first factor is land. Okay, and here is where the questions will come that, okay, digital, what about digital aspects? What about things like neobank, which do not have any physical branches? But let's just talk about it. There's land, there's labor. Then you'll say, ma'am, what about AI? AI is non-human and it still contributes, but we'll talk about it again. The third is capital. You cannot do anything about without money. You cannot start any business without money, right? And the fourth is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship. You might have crores of rupees in your bank account, but if you are an XYZ Ambani, which I will not expand, then you can very well drown that money if you do not have entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship is not just about good startup skills or good business acumen. It is about the will to start a business. Okay, if entrepreneurship is not there, money will keep lying down. There are so many families, there are so many people who are earning crores of rupees as salaries, right? The topmost leaders of investment banks, topmost officials of very powerful companies, but they refuse to start a business of their own, right? They continue to be the labor aspect of it. So labor is not a degrading term. Labor is a term that you are serving someone else, serving someone else's company. Okay, so there is land, there is labor, there is capital, there is entrepreneurship. Now, why is land still a factor? See, land is a factor because even with digital aspect, you do need cloud computing. If you want to store data, you do not have a local server. Where do you think your data is being stored? Is it being stored in the air or in the cloud? No. It is being stored in proper hardware, wherein companies, for example, Amazon, people don't know this, but Amazon's biggest revenue does not come from Amazon's delivery services or Amazon marketplace. Amazon's biggest revenue comes from its cloud services. What is cloud services? You put big machines wherein all the global data is being stored. So where is this coming from? Where will you store these machines? You'll store it on land. That's very obvious, right? Okay, so with this much information, let's now start solving the questions. And as the questions keep coming, I'll keep on telling you more and more concepts which you can then write. So the first question for the day is, with reference to types of goods in Indian economy, consider the following statements. Intermediate goods are essential for further processing and transformation into the final products, and they serve as semi-finished goods. Capital goods must possess specific characteristics such as producing durable outputs that do not undergo transformation while acting as inputs in production processes. And services as type of consumption good are distinguished by their intangible nature and immediate consumption. How many of the given statements are correct? See, whenever you do anything in the economy, if you are adding value, if you are actually adding any value to the economy, you are doing either of these two things. Either you are producing a good or you are producing a service. Okay, so for example, the good that you produce can be anything from relating to from A4 size sheets that you use, the pen that you use, the tab that you use, the laptop, the phone, all these are goods. Services are something that are intangible. They cannot be stored as such. So for example, the fact that I am teaching you right now is a service, but the fact that it is a recorded format and you can use it, and you can store it, that becomes a good. It becomes an intangible good, but still a good. So there is no rigid classification with the digital age today, wherein services are also being accumulated in the form of goods and being sold, right? So you don't need to go into a lot of nitty gritties. Just know that services are intangible, and they are always intangible. Okay, they are always intangible. Goods are tangible goods, right? But even within the goods also you can have some intangible products. So we will talk about everything, but right now for goods, you just mark certain types of goods that you need to know what they are. Classification of goods. So when we talk about goods, the first classification that we have is about the usage. Okay, the usage. So यूजेज में आप दो तरीके से क्लासिफाई करते हैं. वन इज कंज्यूमर गुड. कंज्यूमर गुड इज अ गुड विच इज at its final stage of consumption. So let's say for example, if I am purchasing a jeans, and that jeans I am purchasing to wear myself, then it is a consumer good. But if that jeans is being purchased by me to sell further, then it is not a consumer good. Okay, then it becomes an intermediary good. Then it becomes a part of stock. We will talk about it. But consumer good is about final consumption. Okay, final consumption. So all these products like milk, all these products like, chips and all that all of you have, so that are all consumer goods. Now consumer goods में भी बहुत सारी mini categories होती हैं. So for example, there can be durable goods, there can be non-durable goods. और कभी भी ये नहीं होता है कि एक good हमेशा consumer good ही रहेगा, या एक good हमेशा जो है durable capital good ही रहेगा. So the second category here is capital good. कैपिटल गुड इज अ गुड जिसको आप यूज करते हैं. यू यूज दिस गुड टू क्रिएट अनदर गुड और अनदर वैल्यू. सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल, एनी मशीन that you have, for example photocopy machine. Okay, photocopy machine. So photocopy machine, whoever buys photocopy machine to create a photocopy shop is buying it as a capital good, because they are adding more and more value through that good, but they are not consuming the good, they are not finishing the good as such. Okay, so that is there. So consumer good या फिर capital good. Then another category is according to the stage of production. Stage of production में a good can be intermediate good, a good can be a final good. Okay, final good. Now intermediate good, if we go by this photocopy example, the A4 size sheets that are used in the photocopy business, right, that becomes an intermediate good. And photocopy machine can lead to creation of new books, right? So that is the final product, right? तो A4 size sheets यहाँ पे intermediate हो गई, ink यहाँ पे intermediate product हो गई. Intermediate products are those products who lose their original form while they are being added on to the production process, and they are created into a completely new form. So final goods जो बनते हैं उसमें intermediate goods का इस्तेमाल किया जाता है, and intermediate goods lose their form while they are being produced. So final goods are for consumption, or they can also be for capital accumulation. So a machinery that is kept in a shop to be purchased is also a final good. Okay, so थोड़ा सा भी confusion हो सकता है, but we'll just keep solving it. So हम अगर statement wise देखें, Intermediate goods are essential for further processing and transformation into final goods. They serve as semi-finished goods. Absolutely. Your A4 size sheet is a semi-finished good. It will not have any value till the time it is not being used to print something on it. Right? So this is correct. Capital goods must possess specific characteristics such as producing durable outputs that do not undergo transformation while acting as inputs. So capital goods are also in one way intermediate goods, but they are not classified as intermediate goods. They are classified separately because they don't lose their form. Are you understanding? So second one is also correct. The third one, services as a type of consumption good. No, services are not goods. Services are separate. Services are a separate category. You can never classify services as a good. That's why we have a goods and services tax, right? अगर हम सर्विस को गुड में इंक्लूड कर सकते तो हम गुड्स टैक्स ही कर देते ना, सिर्फ उसमें सर्विसेज हम एक कैटेगरी की तरह डाल देते. So even if you don't know the entire, or even if you're not able to remember, although these are very basic things, but even if you're not able to remember this in the examination, apply your common sense. Services cannot be a good. Fine. So here only two statements are correct. Next, with reference to the Indian economy, consider the following statements. In the market economy, individuals and private firms make major decisions about production and consumption. A command economy is a system where the government owns most means of production and directs operations in most industries. And most contemporary societies operate purely as laissez-faire economies without any government intervention. How many of the given statements are correct? Very easy question. First statement is absolutely correct. This is what a market economy is. Second statement, absolutely correct. Third one is absolutely incorrect. And you know, since when this has been incorrect? 1930s से ये incorrect हो गई है. Before 1930s and since the beginning of Industrial Revolution, so from the beginning of Industrial Revolution to the 1929 to be very specific, there was complete market control. So if you would be knowing, East India Company was also a private company, right? So governments didn't really have any control over private companies. Whatever private companies would do, governments would just aid that. Governments would just push that further. In 1929, the Great Depression happened, right? And that was the time when a gentleman called John Maynard Keynes says that this free market hand, which Adam Smith had suggested, is not going to work, my dear. We need to make sure that governments do have a certain sense of control and accountability so that these instances where lakhs of people lost their jobs, where so many people committed suicide because of the market economy and everything, that can be regulated. So here, there is no way that most contemporary societies are pure laissez-faire. They are market economies, no doubt about it, but not purely. So here, only two statements are correct. I hope this is understandable. Next question. With reference to economic systems, consider the following. In a market economy, the government decides all important matters about production and distribution. A command economy often leads to laissez-faire economic policies, and mixed economies combine elements of market and command systems in decision-making processes. How many of the given statements are correct? These kind of questions only test your presence of mind because sometimes very easy questions come up conceptually, but so many wordings are there that you might get confused. So market economy में गवर्नमेंट का कोई भी हाथ नहीं होता है, कमांड इकोनॉमी का लेसेस फेयर से कोई लेना देना नहीं है, and third one is absolutely correct, that mixed economies combine elements of market and command systems. So here only one statement is correct, and this happens in your prelims examination quite a few times, that you might have solved 1, 2, 3, 4 questions and For 4 questions continuously, you are seeing that, okay, oh my God, B is the answer for the first 4 questions that I have, or the last 4 questions that I attempted. And then the next answer would either be B or be any other option. But if there is any kind of pattern you observe, you tend to unnecessarily keep applying that pattern on other questions. कि अभी 4 का B था, next का तो B नहीं हो सकता, right? या 4 का B था, next का भी B ही होगा. It is about that question. It is about that moment, that question that you are doing. And you have to see the merit of it. The merit of the question. You cannot be assuming कि 4 का B था तो आगे B होगा नहीं होगा. That is not how prelims works. Okay. And with the new kind of, why these options we are stressing upon so much? So that you can be very, very used to these kind of options wherein only one, only two kind of options are being given to you. Okay. So here only one statement is correct. Next question. Consider the following statements regarding goods in an economy. Intermediate goods lose their original form in the production process and are hence excluded while calculating gross domestic product. Then final goods encompass both durable and non-durable consumption goods, but they exclude services. And capital goods, regardless of their form, functions as inputs without undergoing transformation or consumption. So we have already studied about capital goods. So capital goods wala jo aspect hai, that is correct. You know that. Now, intermediate goods lose their original form, are hence excluded from GDP. Yes. अगर आप एक बुक के प्राइस में एक एक A4 साइज शीट का प्राइस भी जोड़ते चले जाएंगे तो बुक का प्राइस बहुत ही ज्यादा एग्जैजरेट हो जाएगा एंड यू डोंट वांट दैट इन अ हेल्दी मार्केट इकोनॉमी, राइट? यू डोंट वांट दैट योर प्राइसेस आर एग्जैजरेटेड. सो दैट इज व्हाई you will never include the prices of intermediate goods. Are you understanding? So that is there. Now, the second thing is that, please write this down. When we are excluding intermediate goods from the final product, we are actually solving the problem of double counting. Right? There is this problem of double counting and we are solving the problem of double counting. Otherwise, हमारी GDP भी exaggerate हो जाएगी. Right? So this one is absolutely correct. Final goods encompass both durable and non-durable consumption but exclude services. No. Final consumption में आपके services भी होते हैं. In fact, services are always, there are no intermediate services, right? Services will be always consumed in their final capacity. Okay, so that is why this one is incorrect. And third one is actually correct. Capital goods, regardless of their form, function as inputs without undergoing transformation or consumption. So this is correct, right? So here the answer has to be only 2 statements are correct. Okay, next one. Consider the following statements about Indian economy. The gross investment constitutes the portion of GDP involving only financial capital infusion. Then physical capital, financial capital and intellectual capital are the 3 categories wherein economists classify capital. And the distinction between consumption and capital goods depends solely on their durability and not on their utilization. How many of the above statements are correct? Go one by one. First of all, capital is one of the 4 factors of production. And there can be various kinds of capital. So for example, one is financial capital. Okay, financial capital means money. When you are starting a business, someone is funding your business, that is financial capital. But there can be overall physical capital also. Physical capital means the machinery that you are involving. Maybe someone is giving you some chairs, tables, these kind of things to start. Your, capital cannot be just financial. It is physical also. Then capital is human also. Human capital also has value. Okay, when a human being as a worker or as an entrepreneur earns wages or earns, let's say, profit, that is included in the gross domestic product of our country. So this only financial capital infusion is incorrect. Then physical capital, financial capital, intellectual capital. Intellectual को हम human capital भी बोलते हैं. These indeed are the three categories under which economists classify capital. So this is correct. And distinction between consumption and capital goods depends solely on their durability and not on their utilization. No, this is absolutely incorrect. Think of a table. Okay, think of a table. A table being utilized as in a house as a table is of course a final good, a consumer good. Okay, it is a durable good also. But what about, let's say, a table which is being used in a magic show? Okay, or a table which is being put up, which is being used to put up a roadside vendor shop. That table becomes a part of the process. That table becomes a capital good. Okay, so it is not a consumption good anymore. Doesn't matter whether it is durable, non-durable. It is not a consumption good. It is a capital good. It is helping you earn more money. So third statement is incorrect. Here only one statement is correct. All right. So the first chapter of our Indian economy has been pretty small, and that is how we will start, because economy में questions आते हैं जो हमारे वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा बेसिक आते हैं, and जो एडवांस लेवल के आते हैं वो एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड आते हैं, राइट? सो we are going to start covering the complicated topics from the next class. So you keep on watching. Regarding this course, the name of this course is Revise Entire Prelims Syllabus through 3000 plus MCQs. We have done our Indian polity. Now we have started with Indian economy, for which we will do about 400 questions. And our motto is that you should be very much well versed with the art of solving MCQs, because ultimately for prelims examination you have to keep solving MCQs, right? So you solve the MCQs, register in the course, you will get these MCQs, you can solve them in a test format, and you can come to these YouTube videos and watch the discussion. And the agenda of these discussion is not that this video ends and then you move forward and then everything is done. No, the agenda is that you should be writing down in your existing notes whatever you need to write, or you should be grasping the concepts. If you have not made a set of notes, you need to either make notes or you need to find out the perfect set of notes which you can rely on. So for example, from Sunya IAS, I can tell you about our prelims notes, right? For economy, we have a separate book, not a very thick book, it's a thin book, wherein we have covered Indian economy from prelims perspective, the static portion. Okay, so you can go for that book or any other book, because there is no book in the market like M. Lakshmikant for Indian polity, right? Which I can say that, okay, just go for it. So just pick your book, or if you don't have the book, keep on making the notes. But I would suggest you go for one source for economy. I am suggesting you the prelims book for economy, that is from Sunya IAS. And keep on adding things to that. Okay. And regarding this course, we will be covering all the subjects: modern history, polity we have covered, geography, economy, art, culture, current affairs, ancient, medieval, environment, ecology, and science and tech. So all of this we will be covering in these classes. We will be giving you the PDF. We will be giving you the questions. Those who have registered, we will be giving you the questions to solve, and you can get into a routine of solving these level of questions which are actually being asked in the paper nowadays. So with this, the first lesson of economy has ended. I hope you derived some value out of it. If you think this course is going to benefit you, you can contact on this number and visit this website. So that is all for today. I will see you all in the next class. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.